Hi guys, welcome back for our Salon Talks series. My name is Kadeisha Placide and I am the founder of Women Empowered Collective. And we are back for another series, another amazing episode. And as you guys know, the salon is a hub for congregation, for organic conversations, and just to let your hair down figuratively and literally. So that does not exclude our conversation for today. We are definitely going to dive in and have some great, just some fun, some wholesome fun. So we are joined, I'm super excited for this, by our first ever guy. And as we know, ladies, we do need each other, so we cannot wait to dive in and get to learn more from the lens of the male gaze, right? So today we have a trailblazer, a founder, a poet, and a strategist. So I'm gonna go over and let him introduce himself.
Thank you.
No problem.
My name is Rashan Brown.
Yes.
I'm a spoken word poet and the founder of Poetry Please.
I love that. Yeah, and do not be shy.
Okay.
This is a safe space.
All right.
Right?
All
So we're gonna have great talk.
Okay.
So tell me more about, before we even dive in, like, what is Poetry Please?
Poetry Me Please is the best show on earth.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I mean, I'm not joking, but
Literally, yeah.
Poetry Me Please is a media company.
Mm-hmm.
We identify poets in the world that have art, and we give them a stage.
Okay.
Essentially, what we're looking to do is to provide them with digital content, workshops, so that they can build sustainable careers in the art form,
Got it.
in live showcases, but also in the digital world.
Okay, love that.
Yeah.
So you're not just like curating events, it goes beyond just that.
Beyond, we have monthly showcases.
Mm-hmm.
We average about 250, 300 guests per show.
Wow.
Which
On
is
a monthly
huge.
basis?
On a monthly basis.
Wow.
Shout out to SOBs, our residency spot.
Love
Shout out to
it.
SOBs. And we pull about 10 poets.
Okay.
We give them 7 minutes on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And at the conclusion of the event, they receive video content, 2 cameras, 2 angles, photography content, features across all of our social sites, and they get welcomed into a special community of poets. And that's important because we also act as a talent agency.
Okay.
So we contract out to poets that we've worked with before
Got it.
that are in our database.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what you perform, we know your style, we know what works best for you. So when companies reach out to us, we know exactly who to kind of like pull of our hat, so to say. And now we're hosting workshops. We've been giving poets content since 2021.
Right.
So you're getting 2 videos per poem. So 7 minutes on stage, that's anywhere between like 1 to 3 poems. So you might be able to leave out with 6 videos that you can take and run with. You can add it to your EPK, your digital portfolio, however you see fit. You get performance shots, headshots, right? So you're really curating who you are as an artist so that you can go out and start your own brand and to, again, build a sustainable career in the field of poetry.
Nice. And which is such a niche field. Like, it's not
Exactly.
that many people, I'm sure. That
You'd
are,
be surprised.
Really?
You'd be surprised. It's almost like rappers or singers, musicians. There's tons of musicians. It's a hobby till it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
I just write until somebody wants you to write something and throws money at you. Now it's like,
The whole
hold on,
career.
I didn't. It's a you have talent. So what we're essentially doing now is we're showing artists, you got all this stuff. Like, here's how you market yourself properly.
Nice.
Here's
Which
what the
is
business
needed.
looks like.
Super needed. Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing to like have the talent for it.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to like know how to like take it from like ground zero to like
Exactly.
all the way.
Exactly.
So,
0 to 1 is, it's 0 to 1, then it's 1 to 2, and then it's 3 to 4, right? There's levels to it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to meet artists where they are and then show them what that next level looks like
Love
at all
that.
stages.
nice. And you're taking advantage of where the world is now,
Yeah.
which is like the digital world.
Absolutely.
So you guys are ahead of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're doing it for poets, which is like your area of expertise, I
Yeah.
think that is like amazing,
Thank you.
So just wanted to like dive in to, well, one, let's start with an icebreaker
Okay.
before we dive in.
Yeah.
So the icebreaker is, what is one rose and one thorn? So essentially one win and one challenge that you have been experiencing for 2026 so far.
We've had 2 sold out showcases.
Ooh,
So
yes.
we're starting off strong.
Yes.
January is our New Year, New Poets. So we do a full lineup of just new poets.
Okay.
February, we leaned into love, black love, but love. And it was a positive night. So typically we have love and it could be heartbreak, lack of, loss of, but this one was like positive love.
Nice.
So
and that was like the theme.
That was the theme of the night. So all the poems that you heard was comforting.
Okay.
And not
so
the
real love. We're going back
real
to like
love.
the
Yeah, it
basics.
was like this feels good versus somebody hurt me in the past and I'm gonna, so it's a completely different feel. Yeah.
Which can make for really good art. We know.
Great art.
Yeah.
Great art. But this was a night of like pure love.
Yes,
That felt good.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So who is Rashan Brown? Like at the core, what was it like, just like your upbringing, and what like brought you to this moment right now?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'll be like really transparent. I don't think a lot of stuff is funny. Like I think that life is hard.
It is tough.
And I think that poetry is my best form of expression because it allows me to be vulnerable. Growing up, cliche, but how I describe it is growing up as a black male, and I've said this a lot, but growing up as a black male, black kid in the hood or low socioeconomic environments, when a ball is not involved, we don't know how to express ourselves. If a basketball, a football, a baseball, a soccer, whatever it is, when you remove that, we get left with almost nothing. No one has ever encouraged us, typically, me specifically, to express myself. Like, what does that look like? No one has ever sat me down and said, like, you should write. Like, write more. Other things were going on. I played sports, so maybe I didn't need to, right? Basketball and football was my go-tos. But as I got older, when I wasn't a part of a team or I wasn't on like a rigid schedule, you start to lose that. Or in the off season, like you lose it.
Like, what are you doing between that time?
What are you doing between that time?
Playing
You're
ball.
trying. You have all this energy. You have all this passion as a young kid, and if your school doesn't have the right resources, then you're just out of luck, right? Because then you have to go out and find a program, and it might cost money. But if you don't have the money, then
yeah. And a lot of people in inner cities, like they don't have that, I guess, the resources, like you said.
Yeah.
So they end up doing other harmful things
Exactly.
to try to regulate themselves.
Exactly, and that's the key word is like other. You do other things, and that can go left, that can go right, it can go anywhere. And so that's how I grew up. And now as I'm doing the right things and I'm trying to build this future that I have in my head with poetry and expression, if something hurts, I'll go and write about it and perform it. It feels good, being able to cry. You don't get lessons on crying. It's like that's an emotional.
Yeah.
But you do get lessons on holding your tears, right?
Yeah, which is resistance.
And you build. It's like why you crying? You're a man, and
tough it out.
You gotta tough it up, and all those things, and I identify with that more than you would think. But I do see the positive, the positive of it. And when you're on stage, if you start crying, no one's gonna tell you to stop.
Right. It's welcome there.
It's a safe space on stage.
Yeah.
So you get to be that. You can listen. If you didn't cry all month, and when you're on stage, you say something that resonates with somebody, and maybe they start crying, and then you cry. We're in a completely different space now. So that's been beautiful to see.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And we do need releases,
Absolutely.
Definitely. And I would just act just like from a man's lens, right?
Yeah.
How important is it to cry, to release, to let your guard down, to put your armor down?
It's as important as can be. With men specifically, if more men realize that a release is important, or as how important it actually is, things will be much different. And I say that because understanding comes with giving grace and being vulnerable. And you need to have that level of transparency, maybe with somebody else or with yourself. So to have a space where you can release, you get to unclench your jaws. You don't carry the anger that a lot of men might have, and that aggression. It's not healthy.
It's super not.
It is not healthy. And once you realize that it's not healthy and you start to do things that, practice, healthier habits, then you can become a better person.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So I know we're talking about like your upbringing and stuff like that. So is there a moment like within your journey that you feel like led you to this moment right now, that where you are? So like be cultivating and helping other poets just grow, or just like even on a strategist or product strategist level as well, which I do want to go into that part as well.
A few moments. I started writing poetry in high school, cliche heartbreak, wrote here and there, and then college, wrote a little bit more. I tried out for the school's poetry team, didn't make it, my Jordan story. And I took that personal, you know?
Of course.
But it was never, poetry was never, I never took it as serious. But it did feel good to perform. It always felt good to perform. And I became a teacher, I got my master's.
So you're in education, you were in education?
I started off in education,
Okay.
I was a STEM educator. I taught science for 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a very interesting journey.
Yeah.
And someone referred me to this open mic in the city. And I had never performed in the city. And I performed, it was 2019, so there was a lot of stuff going on in the world. And I wrote a poem titled I Am Black. Identity. It was my discovery of who I am. There's parts in the poem that say like I am strong, I am a man, but most importantly I am black. And this was my coming to understand what it means to be black in America, especially as an adult. And I was teaching kids. I had a responsibility. And I performed and it felt amazing. My friends were there. There were strangers in the room. They're clapping. They're like, "Oh, this is a good poem." Like, it was nice.
It was impactful.
It was impactful, and it felt good. But I also had like the business hat on, and I paid to perform. It's like it's like $20. I don't know.
Oh wow! So is that like a common practice? Like
not anymore.
Okay. Cool.
No, I think back then it was. Yeah, even earlier days. I almost feel like. Sometimes I feel like I've infiltrated this like poetry scene a little bit. It was from like what's it called? Imposter syndrome, maybe a little bit of that. But it was a common thing back then, and everybody in the room paid. So I'm kind of sitting back doing the math on it. I'm like, the math not really math for him. I'm like, I know I brought at least 20. At least 20 of my people was here, and they here for me. So what I said, and most importantly, it was less about the money, more about what I got out of it. What I got out of it was a great opportunity, and it was inspirational, and it was my release, so that I was good.
Right.
But I thought about, I want to do this again. I want video, like I want content. I was like, I would love to have a video. I have a video of my phone, but it's a different setup. And I said, I don't want to pay. I don't pay anything. Like I'm bringing people up. I shouldn't have to pay.
You should be getting paid.
Yeah, if anything, like, and I didn't even want. I was like, I just shouldn't have to pay. That was my biggest thing. I was like, I don't even want to get paid. I just don't want to have to pay. That doesn't make sense. Like I gotta get gas and come over here. Like it was a lot. So I said, I'm gonna do my own show. I'm gonna just get a venue. I'm gonna sell some tickets, and if I do that, I won't have to pay because it's my show. It was really that simple. It was a very simple thought process. It wasn't a money grab. Like at the time, I used to do like other events. So it wasn't a money grab. It was just like, I just would love to bring some poets out and record us. And the show was amazing. It was intended to be March 2020. March 2020.
The world changed.
Right? So we didn't have the showcase until June 2021.
Okay, so a whole year and change.
Year and change. But that year was also important because COVID, I was a teacher. I wrote a lot. And
so it prepared you.
It prepared me. It gave me opportunities. Right before June 2021, Lloyd Banks was coming out with Course of the Inevitable. And he was like, I need a poet. And previous to that, maybe a few months, I had put out these 2 poetry videos because I had time and people are tagging me under it. And he calls me. He's like, yo, he texts me. He wrote me a DM and he's like, call me. He's like, yo, I got this cool idea. I want to do a trailer. And I was like, bet. I wrote a poem, recorded it, and we shot a video.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, this is lit. Like, and then like a month later, I did my show. So now it was like, Yo, Rush is doing
literally
the show.
happened
Everything happened
in an order how it's supposed to.
How it's supposed to. And the reason why I call that out is because it was Rashawn, Rush is doing the show. But then for people, it was like, yo, this dude who just wrote for Lloyd Banks doing the show.
And how did you mention how you got connected with?
He posted,
Okay.
he posted and this is why in content is so important. I released these 2 videos. I booked out a studio. I had a videographer, I had a photographer, and I had these 2 poems. And I recorded it, and we edited it, and we released it to the world.
I love that, because that's literally like content creation modern day, and that's how a lot of people grow.
Modern day content creation, content is king. So when he dropped the fly, he's like, I need a poet. They like, oh, Rush just dropped some fire.
Yeah.
Rush.
Now your work is gonna speak for itself.
And that's it. And he told me, he was like, I got so many DMs of your name, like I had to hit you up. And that's that's what it was.
I love that. Okay. So I know that aside from being a poet, besides from hosting one of the biggest or the biggest poetry showcase, you also wear other hats as well. So I know you said you were in education. So can you speak a little bit about education, a little bit about the STEM field, and like your passion in drawing to that field?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When I was in school, I was pre-med. So I'm actually supposed to be a doctor right
I
now.
started pre-med as well, then I changed.
Oh yeah, everybody. It's only everybody starting pre-med.
Yes,
And
I overachieving.
right.
You know?
So I have a bio degree, which is funny
Okay.
enough. I have a bio degree, education minor.
Okay.
And what really happened was I realized I didn't like college science, which if I would have known that, I would have known that medical school is not college science, it's a little different. But I made my decision.
Got you.
And I had these 200, 300 people lecture centers, and I was an RA, residential assistant, and I took an education course. It was like mandatory. And I was in this like 20-person class. The professor knew my name. Rashawn, what do you think? I'm like, oh, you want to know what I think? Like, this is great. Like, I feel like I'm in high school. Like, I had that connection, and I loved it. So I added on education, still kept my bio degree. It just kind of worked out that way. And I had a ton of professors that I really connected with. And I was like, I think I'm gonna do something in education. Had a lot of mentors. I applied for Teach for America. Shout out to TFA, the alum, like held it down, taught me how to teach, and I became a science teacher.
Okay.
And I wanted older students, so I taught 8th grade, a little bit of high school. And that was interesting. I think everyone should teach. I think everyone should teach at least 2 years.
Why do you say that?
People forget that kids exist.
Yo,
The joke,
as an adult, you
forget.
You forget what it feels like also to kind of relive and be in the
Yeah,
classroom,
you forget.
and learning.
Yeah, and that changes
So I agree.
everything. Changes everything. The joke that I make is people forget that kids exist until they see the school bus. Then it's like, oh, there's more traffic. Where's the traffic come from? Oh, the school, right?
Right,
I've heard it so
right.
many times, and sometimes I say, where these kids is at? But honestly, you don't really see a lot of kids out for real. Especially now, everybody's they're inside, like watching streamers. Like you forget,
Wow.
people forget, and that changes everything. I think if you remember that kids are the future, the things you do in life change. How you show up as a person in the real world changes. So I think everybody should teach.
Okay.
Get a little responsibility, a little patience. So,
I'm sure it definitely cultivated some patience.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So that was my teaching experience. It was the end of COVID, and I knew after 2 years, I knew that I needed to pivot. Took me some time to kind of figure it out. But COVID definitely expedited things. Went from teaching 30 students in a classroom to now teaching maybe 10 online if they showed up.
So you did a little bit of virtual or hybrid?
I did a little bit of virtual, the hybrid,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. And
Oh, sorry, product?
yes,
Oh.
yes.
Well,
So do you believe, like, just like from your background teaching and just like even like from the STEM field, that it also like opened a pathway for like the work that you do now? And like I would love to get into just like the other side of what you're doing. You know, you do creative work, but then you also do more strategic work. So what is that like?
yeah, absolutely. Transferable skills are a thing. Being in a classroom I was 23 when I started teaching. I was really young. And I'm in a classroom full of Black and brown kids that look just like me. They speak like me, they think like me, and most importantly, they experience the world in the same fashion that I do. So when they look at me, I was less of like Mr. Brown, and I was kind of like Big Bro. And it was interesting because I grew up 20 minutes where I taught, I'm like, yo, I'm you. Like, I was you a few years ago. Like, I'm you. We listen to the same music. Like, I understand the lingo. I'm you. And that was always an interesting aspect because they respected me because of that. And
You could relate to them.
I could relate to them. And this kind of goes to like, I can say this now because it was years ago, but like the reasoning strategically when kids would, especially the guys, they would argue and they would like, they would want to fight. And I'd be like, you guys can fight, but there's a consequence if you do. It's like if you want to go and hit him, you can. Right. And you're right. You feel disrespected, you should go and show him.
Right.
But know that there's a consequence that comes with that.
As such is life.
As such is life. And I'll just sit there and go, do you want to fight him? Yeah. No. So then let's just move forward. Moving forward, it's gonna take a lot, right? Because you have emotions. You need to go take a walk. Go take a walk. But I'd have a real conversation.
That's good.
And thankfully, no one ever hit anybody.
Because if he's like, go ahead and fight,
right? Go ahead and fight. But I would talk to them like adults. I'm like, listen, if you hit him, there are consequences that come with that. He might beat you up. That's another consequence that we don't, And it's again, I'm not trying to promote violence, but at the same time, they experienced the world and they had friends that were dying. They had real conflict. They had real conflict. And if I can just help in any way, I wanted to. So that was like a big part of it. Now, connecting that to product is very interesting. But like strategically, product, whether it's product and or poetry, when I address the crowd in Poetry Me Please, I address it as a teacher. And I say things like, do we understand? You need to mute your phone because if your phone goes off, it ruins the video. Yeah. Do you understand? And everybody's like, yes. Right? And it's like, when there's a poet on stage, we need to respect the poet. One mic. Do you understand? Everybody's like, yes. So that sets the tone because if I'm on stage talking about somebody that I lost and you're talking,
it can throw you off.
That's not a good feeling. This is a very personal poem for me. I need you to respect. And it's not the poet's job to do that. It's P&P's job to create that environment. Right. So those are like how something like that can happen where I can transfer that skill. And, and the teacher, I'll wait. It's the same exact thing. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Yeah. So that was the interesting part of that. Yeah.
Nice. So with product management for people
Product management.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does like a day-to-day look like?
Okay. I always use Instagram as my example. I work at Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram is a product of Meta, but Instagram itself is its own platform. On Instagram, you have features. You can like a photo, you can share a photo, you can post a photo, there's stories, there's reels, those are all features. A product manager, it's different everywhere you go, but a product manager usually is the one in the middle that's thinking about these ideas. How can we do X? I want to have a place where people can go and see photos. All right, cool. So then I think we want to create like a homepage or something like that. And they then work with a designer to design what it looks like. When you go on Instagram and you press a button, what happens? A requirement is needed for that. When user presses this, they see this, and it functions like this. So they design it, they then work with a engineer to code it, and then it appears in the app. Yeah. Simplified version of it. Yes. I do that for like ESPN.
Gotcha.
So not everybody has ESPN or watches sports and So it's a little bit of the same. It's me writing how something should look, how it should feel, how it should function to solve a need. If you like basketball, I use basketball, but if you want to watch basketball and you want to know how many points were scored, you'd go and look at the data. We provide that data for you. So essentially product management.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And product management definitely sounds like it's very technical.
Yes.
Right? And we are, of course, living in that age where everything is very digital, like I mentioned.
Absolutely.
Very tech forward. So I'm assuming you have to be very tech or future minded.
You have to be technical. Yeah, you can say it. Yeah, you have to be technical because you're working with engineers. Like we have stand-ups and an engineer will say, this is your project. I need you to write requirements. What should this do? And you have to very simply, when you press this, this happens. This is what you see. And if you press this, this is then what you see. It's a very step-by-step, strategic, tactical, technical workflow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And it sounds very similar to what you were explaining with the kids, for example.
Yeah.
Like, you do this, you get this outcome.
Absolutely.
So I feel like it kind of...
It's a step-by-step process. You have...
this, and then you get an input and an output, right?
Yeah, every action has a reaction. Newton's law, right? But it's also, you get curriculum, your rubric. You have X amount of tests for the year, quizzes. This classwork makes up this percentage. It's very structured, and if you zoom out, you get to see the structure of it.
Right.
And that's essentially the same thing.
Okay. So I want to ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
As we're talking about tech. So I want to know, in a world where AI and tech are transforming creativity, right? Do you think that human storytelling, like poetry, has become one of the most powerful forms of innovations left? So do you think that poetry is like one of like the last forms of like human touch or like, human interaction?
So yes and no. I say yes because spoken word poetry, has two parts.
Okay.
The writing and then the performance. So it's happening now, and I'm sure poets will be reluctant to realize it, and you have poets that are authentic, and the same way you have rappers. You have like some rappers have ghostwriters, or writers, and then singers, musicians, and then there's some poets who are like they are phenomenal writers and they just do their thing. And I'm sure there's poets that have used AI. Like, it would be naive of you to think that that's not happening.
Wow.
Because it's
Very true.
so accessible.
It's in every, yes, it's accessible.
LLMs, like, they're so accessible, and you can utilize it. Now, again, you as an artist have to decide whether or not you want to be authentic to your voice. Are you still working on your craft, right? You don't want outside input to it, right? So that's one part. But you can't fake performance. You can't have AI, like, you might ask it how you should perform this piece, but you have to do it.
You have to write it, yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I'm on my podcast right now.
Dope.
And they're talking about this Smash Machine. Smash Machine was the movie that just came out with The Rock. And it's like a biopic of, I think Mark Kerr is the UFC fighter's name. Addiction problems, the whole nine. And there's a scene that they reference. And there's a scene where The Rock has just like overdosed and he's in the hospital. And I think his trainer comes in and is like, hey, like, how you doing? And The Rock is almost like, no, I'm good. Like, just had a bad night. And he looks at him and says, like, you don't have to do that. And The Rock, like, grabs the sheet and he covers his face with it. And the director was like, why'd you do that? And he was like, I don't know. Like, when I was growing up, my father struggled with drugs, and I saw him do that in the hospital. And AI cannot fake that. They can't pull that out anywhere.
Wow.
That was a genuine reaction that The Rock had experienced, and he saw it.
Yeah.
So that performance piece. So yeah, I think poetry is always going to be one of those. I think any live entertainment is always going to be one of the last to have full adoption or adaptation, I should say, because of that physical human aspect to it.
Yeah. It's good, and it is accessible. So I know that, of course, like you said, we'll be naive to think that we're not using it in creative spaces.
Yeah, people people will put how to make this sound better.
Yes.
So what
you?
People like you and more people now, right? Because it's almost it's forced in the industry now. You almost have to for certain things, right? But you can still you don't have to as a writer. You can be a writer, and I would challenge poets. Yeah, be a writer. Like, see what you can do versus then going and having somebody write your stuff.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So for us, for Women in Power, we are gearing up right now for our annual event, and that is going to be taking place in June. And I'm just so interested in like tech and AI and like innovation, especially for founders and for people that are making impact, because although of course there's a lot of like talk and a lot of anxieties around it, it's also really, really helping us as well, right? So we have to like acknowledge the fact that it also helps us to save on our time and helps us to like kind of declutter some thoughts sometimes. It helps us to like process information and like, all in one space, you know.
Yeah.
So it is helpful. So I do want to, of course, push that as well.
Yeah.
But for our expo this year, which is going to be our first time having an expo,
Okay.
is going to be
Congrats.
thank
Really
you,
congrats.
thank you. So we're like planning. It's been a lot of planning, but a lot of great things on the horizons, right? So our topic and our themes, as mentioned, a lot of AI conversations, a lot of like technical things that people are doing, or how to like benefit and push us forward, especially as Black and brown, you know, creatives. So that is going to be very, like, that's going to be the core of what we're going to be doing this year. So I cannot wait to have everybody in and just like be in on the conversations around this, because a lot of people, we know like very intermediate level, but like how do we like raise it up a notch to like make sure we're maximizing the systems that we have. So I would ask you, how are digital platforms and AI shaping how artists are discovered and amplified for today? So, given all of the new things on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, you touched a little bit about it. You mentioned how they're being discovered. So now you have tons of tools that can connect all of your social platforms and post on a schedule. So, for example, we post poets' performances. So, you know, the tool, I think the platform is called Repurpose.io, maybe, where my production manager, he'll cut a video, or you can have AI cut the video. And you could even tell AI what portion of the video you want to get cut. Emotional, crowd interaction. And it will read that and listen and watch the video and cut it. You can have a long video, you can have a short video, all AI. Wow. Then you can schedule it, and the AI will then post on all the platforms. That's like basic. That's like very basic though. You know, it's almost like an entry point where you just kind of let it do its thing. And then, so that's the one part where pumping out content. A poetry video that we record on average, maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. We do 10 poets, they might perform twice. It's a lot of content. We have a lot of content. And for one person to scan through, find the right moments, it's difficult. So you might use that tool and you might promote it. If I give you a 3-minute video, you got a few different clips you can chop up, especially if you want to stay under 30 seconds. So not only can you cut those videos up, you can like upload those videos into a language learning model and say which one of these has the best percentage to go viral.
Wow.
Then you can post it.
Wow.
Everything is, you could get anything that you need as long as you know how to prompt the tool.
Absolutely.
You know, efficiently. You can get your whole setup just from that. And as a platform, we're leaning into that. We want to, what are best practices?
You have to stay ahead of like all the things right
Absolutely.
now.
YouTube is still the biggest, you know, social platform. And if you know how to go viral on YouTube, you know, you won the game. So there's always ways, and like, I think for discoverability, doing that, leaning into that is important for an artist or platform that promotes artists. Yeah.
Okay, so just going into like more so about, I want to say just like on a human level, right?
Okay.
Just talking about like wellness and like self-development, because as founders in this tech-driven world, you still have to make sure that we're grounded. We have to make sure that we are still able to show up as our human selves and still be the best versions of ourselves. So is there some things that you're doing to be able to show up as like a founder, as someone that is in many different spaces or wearing many different hats?
Yeah. So in which ways? Like, what am I doing for myself personally?
Yeah.
For
yourself personally.
I had this poem titled like Workaholic, and I wrote it in the midst of I had knee surgeries, unfortunately, and during this time of recovery, I couldn't do anything. Like, I was on the couch, propped up with my knee up. And I remember we had a showcase, and I was going crazy. It was the first showcase that I missed. And it was so difficult for me to just like chill. I didn't realize that I had so much difficulty just chilling. So now what I'm mindful of is taking breaks and not feeling guilty for it. There's
Super
always
important.
something to do.
Yeah.
There's always an email to respond to. There's always, you could always clean, but you can always like work on your work.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a passion project that you
Yes.
want to turn into
Yeah.
entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
right?
It's hard to like tether like the balance between
Absolutely,
that,
it's hard because you, especially like me, like Kobe's one of my idols. Mamba mentality, 1% better every day, and I can't sleep for too long, right?
Yeah.
So toxic habits.
Yeah.
But now I rest.
Yeah.
And if I find a day where I'm just on the couch watching TV, I don't feel guilty for it.
Right. You allow yourself to do
I allow
that,
myself
for
for
sure.
it. And as a writer, I need dead time. I need time where nothing is going on. I'm just sitting down where I'm doing absolutely nothing. Because that helps me, it prompts me as a writer, then I get inspired, then I have time to write and I feel comfortable. So those are, things, as well as like now working out, stretching, mobility,
Super
just doing,
important.
especially with the fact that I've had the surgeries, it's getting back to a healthy living, eating better. These are all things that I lean into now because I see the importance of it.
Yeah.
And even like going on a walk, listening to
love walks,
podcasts,
too.
right? Like it's helped me phenomenally, right? So now when I'm
Yeah.
having conversations, I'm thinking about things, I'm writing things down, I'm being a little bit more intentional with how I approach certain rooms because I've had time to just like think, and that's important.
Love that. And I think that it helps us again to show up as like the best versions in our workplace.
Yes.
Like you can write a great poem after you done had that time to ground yourself.
Yeah.
So like really take a walk, clear your mind, and
Absolutely.
all of that. So I think it's so important. It's rest. I'm learning is like a strategy. You know,
Yes.
like it is literally a tool that we have
Intentional
to
rest without
Yes.
feeling guilty. That's the best part. Like
Exactly.
without
Not
everybody needs
feeling
rest.
guilty. Yeah.
But sometimes I might sleep a little long and I'd be like, damn, I should have woken up earlier. But it's like,
Yes, but it'll get done. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
really do get done.
Yes.
So I agree with that. And I think it has a lot to do with, for us, for me, like just like brought up, like in your
Yes.
upbringing. Like maybe your parents worked really, really hard and they're
Yeah.
like, you're laying down or you're on the couch.
Yeah,
you're
you
being
can't lay
lazy."
down for too long in the house. Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yes.
no, you got to do something.
Gotta
So
do
it is
something.
definitely embedded in us. So I'm happy that our generation gets to kind of like steer away from
we're
that.
peeling
and
the
use
layer
it.
back on that toxic stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So before we wrap up, I want to know what are your 3 non-negotiables for protecting your creativity, mental health, and purpose while leading a cultural platform?
That's dope. Rest is still number 1 without feeling guilty.
That part.
It's staying tapped into the community, following the platforms, going to the shows. I should be doing a better job at this, performing at other shows, just getting in front of audiences. That's really important. To be a part of the community, you have to be in the community. There's been moments, especially even with my surgeries, where like I wasn't able to physically be in places, but it's still keeping tabs on what's going on. Like, again, if you're heavy on social media, it's like following the platform. So that's what I'm big in. And I think this next one might be travel.
Nice.
Funny enough, like
Okay.
travel, experiencing the world, different places, going out and exposing yourself to just different things.
Seeing the world, because that
Seeing
also
the
helps
world.
our creativity.
And that's the big part. Like, you hear these people make fun of Drake. It's like, he starts with the intro and he's like talking about stuff that you have no idea about. It's because he's experienced. Like
He's living his life.
he's living the life. So now it becomes, it's less of making things up, and he might just be telling you about his day. And I think many artists do that. But I think once you have that, you have that reach to do it, it becomes more authentic to you, and that creates creativity.
Absolutely.
So.
Yes. So what is next on the horizons with Poetry Me Please? I know you said that you want to perform more, so I'm assuming you want to get more into your artist bag even more.
More into the art bag. Balancing the role of founder and CEO has been difficult because I'm a writer first, but I'm strategizing. So I don't have that dead time that I mentioned as much because there's always something to do. So writing more for sure, but Poetry Me Please as a platform, we've leaned into our monthly showcases. So we have once a month. Next showcase, March 28th, April 25th. May, we'll do maybe like second or third week of May. And then we have our slam in June, which is our 5-year anniversary. So we have
when is that one?
June 6th.
Okay.
June 6th is Saturday. Yes.
Nice.
And right, so we have our monthly shows. We're still doing our big end of the year show. For the last 3 years, we've sold out the Apollo twice.
Okay.
With over 1,600 in attendance.
Ooh.
Right? So like country's largest.
Love it.
We were at King's Theater that held 32. We were close to like 2,000 in that venue.
Yes. And I was at King's Theater.
Okay,
had an
cool.
amazing event.
Thank you. So
Really
you get
dope.
to see, right?
Yes.
And it's it's all poetry.
Yes.
It's all poetry, and that's beautiful. So we're leaning into our showcases, but we're also leaning into workshops, helping artists take their content and doing something meaningful with it. Whether it's a passion project or whether you want to start a career, you can do those two things. And additionally, we started our P&P publishing arm. So the idea is like we've been giving artists the stage, now we're giving you the page. So I'm writing a book.
Okay.
See for Colors coming out in 2026.
Yeah.
Had to push it back for a little,
So it's going to be out before the end of this year.
It's going to be out for the end of this year, which I'm excited about. And
congrats.
Thank you. So I've been writing that, and eventually what we'll do is we'll start to take manuscripts from other poets, and then publish their work. So you'll be able to perform, you'll be able to sell your book, right? We're creating an ecosystem that gives the poets an actual sustainable career.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing amazing things.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I want to know, where can the people find you? Like, how can they stay in touch with you? Just go right ahead and let us know.
Like I said, my name is Rashan Brown, aka Rush the Mic. You can find me on Poetry Me Please on all platforms. And my personal Instagram is _Russian, no affiliation, _Russian.
Yes. And you guys, please do continue to follow us at Official Woman in Power. For me, you can follow me at Kadeisha Placide. And please go ahead and purchase your tickets for our upcoming Run the World Expo. That's going to be happening June 22nd through 27th in New York City. It's going to be a week long. And as mentioned, our conversations are going to really center around the topics of AI tech innovation. And our tagline this year, y'all, is a cultural reset for how you work, lead, create, and live. So we want people to leave feeling those exact things and just having those tools and knowledge. So continue to follow us, and we'll see you back for our next episode. Bye.